Howdy folks, Keywii here, and welcome back to Suzerain, a safe space in which will be awesome, where things are... they could be better. Our budget is a little lower, our economic development is a little bit lower than it once was, we could, do a bit better, but we need to move forward. We only got so much time, we only got so much, resources. Resources far more. Time we got a little bit of, but resources, Jesus Christ, we gotta be smart about this. The preparations for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered in the White Room for the important occasion. Jesus, that's a lot of voices I'm gonna have to do in a moment. Nearly half a year had passed since my inauguration. The cabinet looked overworked. I would like to use this opportunity for a statement, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's finally time to discuss the government budget. Welcome everybody, great to see you. I would like to use this opportunity for a statement. Of course, sir. Each and every one of you is very capable, but it's what we do as a team that counts. We're doing great things, and this is just the beginning. There will be many more good things to come. Years ago, all of us gathered to change the course of history. Now I'm proud of what we achieved and what is to come. I'm feeling very 3, but let's hit 1 here for a second. No, because that could be seen as a bad, like, oh, you don't trust us? I'm gonna go with 3. Minister appeared energized by my statement. Much appreciated, sir. Sadly, Peter Vectern, Gus Manger, and David Whiskey won't be attending this meeting. They are working on the upcoming trade agreements with Welland and Agnolia. That's pretty good. May the Lord be with them. Ciara gave a barely disguised eye roll. Oh, you. Education. Gotcha. Oh, double click. I can only have so many female voices. I am physically male. Before we begin, is nobody going to mention the ban on the Red Youth and the Red Swords? However much their political aims might differ from our administration's, surely you must agree that freedom of expression must be protected at all costs. Miss Morgna is right. Nia flashes her an appreciative smile. I myself align far closer with the Red Youth's politics than the Young Swords, but I believe that both... She broke off as she noticed that Lucian, Simon, Losef, and Losef were looking at her and Nia in stony silence. Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea. Sarah shot a pleading look at Lilias, who merely pursed her lips disapprovingly. The ban is final, don't question it any further. Have any problems with the ban, call a separate meeting with me. Simon started loudly shuffling some documents around. All eyes turned towards the Minister of Education. Economy. Let's begin, Mr. Hall. Thanks to Simon's expertise, I'm sure we'll achieve lots of great things today. Thank you for the compliment. Today is a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals we set as a government. While maintaining enough political support, if I may add, promises were made during the election. There are 3 options regarding the budgeting of the 4 main branches of the government. It's either we increase, maintain, or decrease the funding. Increasing will result in an improvement of the branch, which will unlock new policy options. Maintaining will keep the funding, resulting in no visible change. Decreasing causes a loss of efficiency in that branch. It's possible to maintain as much state control as possible. The problem isn't the amount of money spent, it's how efficiently we spend it. That's actually incredibly thoughtful. It's true that many of our policies could be far better implemented. Our welfare systems are full of issues that need to be addressed, for instance. We have to be careful as to what we fund, so we will have resources remaining for another investment project. To prioritize the most critical branches, we need to keep true to election promises or people voted for us because of the promises we made. Reduction of funding in certain branches can help fund investment projects. We have to keep true to the election promises. Our people voted for us because of the promises we made. As much as we realistically can. If we fail at improving our economy, the promises don't mean much in the big picture. while we also promise to improve the economy. So, before we begin our discussion, there's one more thing that I want to voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we are obviously able to go into debt to invest in different branches. Although debt is a possibility, under these circumstances, it would dent our financial system, worsening the economic crisis if we push it too far. A point from me as well to everyone before the discussion. Given the current state of the country, the economic situation is a political priority right now, more so than ever. The budget will also be applicable to our entire team. It is very critical that we plan correctly. Let's begin then. Which branch should we discuss first? Talk about healthcare, law enforcement, military, education. Our education system is lacking, not only in funding, but also in modern curricular principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasting our youth. That is the reason why I advocate two things: an increase of the budget to improve access to education in rural areas, and a new education reform. To be honest, Sordland is lacking compared to Arcasia and United Contana when it comes to education levels. The backbone of any country is its people, and we need to protect our future. We need to ensure the new generation is as well educated as their counterparts in more modern countries. Yeah, the smarter the populace, the better our country becomes later. Now we'll lose control and some shit will go bad, but the country will be good because the people will be smart and they'll know what they're doing. And they won't ask stupid questions. And they won't ask for proof on shit that ain't fucking related. And they won't fucking Twitter won't exist. And shit'll just be good. Nonsense. Sordland is still here because of the very system that you insult. Now, how can you insult a system that teaches our sons and daughters the principles of national identity and pride? Interior. We won't be compared to other countries. Sordland is Sordland. I agree with Lilia. Sordland is Sordland. I must also remind you that we promised that we were going to focus on education during our campaign. You're right, Lucian. We can't let people down. Lilius is right. We will pave our own path. We didn't get this far by imitating Sierra. It's high time we invest in education and enact reforms. Let's talk about healthcare. Sorry, so the reforms all good. So law enforcement. I would like to have an increase in the funding of the law enforcement to increase the size of the police force and raise salaries. We have so many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretching my units far too thin with the limited resources allocated to me. Nia cleared her throat. Law enforcement is certainly a high priority. However, I feel tackling internal corruption is of higher importance in increasing our police presence. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world won't help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police unit, which we could create if the funds were directed to me. I agree with Miss Morgna. I can't do 3 female voices in the same damn scene without making them interesting in some way. We should reward a structure that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. We should not reward. Additionally, corruption is the reason of our government inefficiencies. It needs to be tackled. The police are here to serve and protect the people of Sordland. Miss Walder, and that is exactly what we were doing. More funding will allow us to take care of our police forces. It is quite a simple choice, given the current state of the country. With Lilius, if this was another time, I would have said something different, but we know the current situation. I agree with Nia, we need real solutions for real problems like corruption. I agree with Sierra, what would people think of us if we fund the police after all that happened? Nia... well, we do need funding for the police. Like, that's just a requirement. There was another time I would have said something different, but we know the current situation. We need real solutions for real problems like corruption. What would people think of us if we fund the police after all that happened? Where is the I'll think about it later option? I want that one. If this was another time, I would have said something different, but we know the current situation. Let's talk about healthcare. One moment. Discord is going off, and I need to know if there's anything important. Okay, good. No emergencies. Just people doing stuff. Alright. Our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our health services is far worse in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think we should receive more funding to address this disparity. I agree. I have recently begun an investigation into healthcare in... Jesus. Excuse me, hiccups. In Nobel, and the numbers are not good. If we don't increase our increased spending, Ministry of Health. Hilariously, the last person I gave this particular voice to, I believe, was also a doctor. If we don't increase our spending on health services, we at least need to maintain it. However, we are putting lives at risk. We have just started a new analysis on what would happen if a pandemic struck Sordland. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain at the current state, the death toll would be unimaginable. Yeah, but they'll blame it on the fucking government somehow or whatever. I'm not even talking about the damage to the economy. This is a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such. This is indeed worrying. We should try to fix whatever we can as the government. That is only if a pandemic happens. Well, you can't fucking think like that. Don't be stupid. Don't be fucking stupid. We need to improve our healthcare. What else are we here for if we can't keep our people alive? It's time to hear the opinions on the military. What is there to hear about? I already voiced my opinions. Rumberg is coming whether we like it or not. If not this year, next year. If not next year, the year after that. Mr. President, you and I have shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say this with certainty: if Rumberg doesn't make a move against Sordland in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Losef Lancia. Losef is beginning to lose control of the volume of the voice. Oh, okay. I'm not going to start screaming, but... There can be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there is an enemy at our doorstep, waiting for us to make one wrong move. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. Mr. Lancia. Right, pardon my theatrics, sir. Well, this is a serious matter. The future of our country is up to you, Mr. President. Well, here is an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined for our people while stoking fear for an upcoming war. The issues with Rumberg can be solved diplomatically. No, they can't. That's actually wrong. That's actually straight up false. See, diplomacy is for people who want resolution. They want the land we own. What kind of message are we sending to them if if we suddenly start ramping up our military budget? That we are ready to defend our nation, Ms. Walder. Exactly. I agree with Losef. Rumberg is a real threat. We need to be ready. We need to be as diplomatic as possible. There are other more important avenues that our money can better be spent on. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to probably go with the first one. And at this point, I've promised money to fucking everyone. Yeah, let's increase the budget. Fucking everyone has money all over the place, right? But no, essentially, the military spending is good. I like it as is. I like it, full stop. It's good. And we don't need an up in budget. We need a continuation of existing budget. So, let's see here. Of these 3 options, third one. Very good talking points from everyone. Well then, the time to make a decision on the budget has come. Consider it with care, Mr. President. Simon placed a stack of papers on my table. Okay, health. Healthcare system of the country was at a crossroads. Since the 1940s, the difference in quality between urban and rural hospitals was getting worse, and the average life expectancy dropped. The situation was becoming relatively dire. Upon selecting one of the options below, you will sign an irreversible order. Please think carefully. Final budget 1. I think our healthcare can be like spread. Like our healthcare in the cities is awesome, but we need to take some out of the city and put it into rural. I think if we maintain that, we should be good. Nice. And I can go back if I care about it. All right, so increase the education budget because that one is vital. Education in Sordland was overburdened. The lack of schools, teachers, and even equipment in certain areas caused massive gaps in what was otherwise known as one of the most robust systems around a decade ago. Upon selecting one of the options below, you will next is law and enforcement. Increased crime, lawlessness, and a new wave of immigration has pushed many elements of the law enforcement to their limits. Judges at courts are barely keeping up with the backlog of cases. On the other hand, the police are overburdened. I feel like we have to maintain everything except education. We can... military, definitely maintain that one. I don't want to decrease the budget because we straight up will be attacked. Fix education, fix economy. I can't put us into debt, so fix economy. Need to stay at 0. I could lower the military, I guess, but man, do we need it? Do we straight up require it? No, well, we need budget, though. We need the budget. Alright, unfortunately, I'm done. Promises will be remembered, and they will have consequences. No. Maintain. That one I'm fine with. I'd finished allocating the government budget to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and the dismay of others. They and I knew this would define a significant part of our term. It looks like we have a balanced budget with no deficit or surplus. Not bad at all. Agreed. Well then, let's start with law enforcement. Lilia leaned forward to put her hand on her chin. Nia was looking down at the floor. I suppose we'll have to make do with what we have. This is not the best situation for us. I'm not sure what we'll be able to do if the budget doesn't change. Any statements on the matter, sir? I trust you to push the military and justice forward. The continuation of the existing set of budgetary conditions is in order. No, that should be all. The continuation of the existing set of budgetary conditions is in order. Our budget is 0. It's unfortunate. I don't like being in debt, but I don't like not having money. No debt is great. Not having money sucks, but it's better than debt. It just is. Because then you still owe. Okay. Trust you to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward. No, that should be all. Very well. Let's hear from the Ministry of Education. Sierra was eager to comment. The increase of funding is very welcome. We can finally go after some comprehensive improvements by building new schools and improving the education system. Surely a well-funded and larger Ministry of Education would benefit everyone. Our future depends on our children. Education is a first step in the fight against ignorance. Education is our future, and it will not be sidelined. Our focus on it is clear. Your expertise and passion should enable you to make the necessary changes for improvement. And I'll comment in that regard. Thank you. It is great to see a positive change in the attitude of the administration for the first time in a decade. The military is next. Sierra clearly wasn't finished, but didn't interject. Losef chimed in. It is a shame that the military won't be getting an increase. I will have to make sacrifices to maintain our defense. Lucian seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down at his notepad when Losef eyed him. Your talent and expertise, you will overcome the issues our military faces. Maintaining the funding was the correct call, especially in the light of the threats. With your talent and expertise, you will overcome the issue our military faces. It will be harder to do so, but I shall find ways. It is my duty. Now, I didn't, lower anyone's budget, so no one's pissed at me. They're just disappointed. Well, Seth leaned back in his chair. Let's hear from Mr. Barnawal. Oh. I can't say that maintaining the funding is negative, but I don't think our services will perform any better. Welfare must remain a priority for our team. There is no other way around it. Your opinions are noted, Pascal. Your task is to improve the care in the country. It is best we continue our funding as it is. You will have to find new resources. Let's wrap it up. Watch. That covers all branches. Each minister will approach you with their respective policy requests and expectations over the next year. I'll thank you for your time and the participation in this significant moment. The meeting is concluded. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time and effort. Regardless of what happened, I wouldn't be here without you. Don't forget that we are a team. For those who didn't like the decisions, don't take it personally. We are a team. The ministers bid their farewell, some excitedly, others dejectedly. But no one pissed off, and that's the important part. Everyone's just like, I guess, okay. The cabinet slowly dispersed out of the White Room. The budget for our term was concluded. Yeah, at no point was there any ulterior motives, on my part. No one can read into what I just did and be like, oh, well, he clearly is blah, 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 blah. I maintained everything as is, except for the education, which I very specifically said, well, I promised that. I got to deliver on the promises. No one can look at what I did and be like, oh, yeah, what an asshole. I decided to... Oh, this is just all of them. Decided to maintain, increase, maintain, and maintain. One last news report. One last report. 1954 Sordland government budget. After a marathon 18 hours of negotiations, the Sordland government budget for the current term has been finished. The government envisages spending around 13 billion SR next year, around 2 billion SR more than this year. The 1954 budget sees an increase in Sordland education funding. The Ministry of Education, one of the smaller ministries in Sordland, will see its budget grow more than expected, which will especially benefit primary and secondary education schools. Ministry of Education, Ms. Walda, has expressed her gratitude for the increase in the education budget, saying that this increase will help us build a future for Sordland. And then the report. Reform Committee Status Report. Lucien Goulet reported that so far they had been able to get in total 87 signatures behind the proposal. Efforts are underway to increase the support and reach out to the necessary members. And now we got a continue button. Oh, wait, hang on. Welfare. Good urban institutions. What is this? The developed urban areas of Sordland have well-funded welfare situations. Increased education funding. Overburdened welfare system, inaccessible, soulless education. Anyway, let's say continue on this one. Are we in chapter 2 yet? Yes, I got an achievement. Chapter 1, President Rayne. Chapter 2, a new Sordland. Oh, we hit chapter 2. It only took 70 episodes, but we got it. Alright, we got 3 news reports. The highway isn't any further concluded than it once was. Lockhaven Times. Lockhaven League of Women March. Hundreds of women organized by the Sordland League of Women marched for and called for gender equality in the country. The group held signs highlighting the issue of domestic violence, the wage gap, maternity leave, and the sexist attitudes in the education system. Police forces quickly created a security cordon to protect the march after a large group of religious counter-protesters arrived. The calls for equality were drowned by the large group of conservatives. The protests were a clear reflection of the division that surrounds the country. It also raises questions if the First Lady Monica Rayne's agenda to raise awareness and trigger change on the issue will bear fruit. Geopolitico. This is the international crap, presumably. Logslandian Navy forces Agnolian drill ship to retreat from Helegeland. Hang on, one moment. Yeah, that one. Oh, it's all grayed out now. Helm Volksland Navy Chief Admiral Kurt Hexer on Tuesday said an Agnolian drilling ship was driven away from Volksland Exclusive Economic Zone in the Nurmenlander Sea recently, asserting that such activities will be dealt with swiftly and sternly. The ship entered the area without Volkslandian Navy's prior permission. They said the illegal occupation Helgeland does not give Agnolia the right to claim the seas. Our stance has been that if you do anything in our region, we have to notify us or take our permission. The Navy chief said at a press conference without elaborating further on the incident. Since 1950, there has been a permanent presence of the Volkslandian Navy in the Mercian Sea region, mostly in the form of anti-piracy force. Experts are concerned about Agnolia's increasing forays around Helgeland, which they believe may trigger a heavy response from Volksland. Dwight Walker has announced the first successful Arcasian intercontinental ballistic missile test, which was conducted at a military test site at the Nam Atoll in the middle of the Oceania. Fires the M4 ICBM. The fired missile, codenamed Missile 4, flew several thousands of kilometers towards the direction of United Contana before crashing down at sea close to the abandoned radioactive Rostov Island. The missile test indicated that Arcasia wants to send a message to United Contana about island bases in the middle of the Oceania, while displaying that the Arcasian military technology has advanced. Will Arcasia be able to catch up to United Contana in the face of growing contentious situation between the superpowers? Honestly, I don't fucking know. I just want to have a good time, man. See that things are good. Anyway, we're going to Benfey. See what's up in Benfey. Read the report from Benfey. Regional airport overcrowded. Interesting. We have been receiving reports that the capacity of Benfey Regional Airport, about the capacity. The mayor of Benfey is preparing to put a request forward for an investment to build an international airport in the city. For a touristic region like Benfey, he claims that it would increase the overall prosperity of Sordland. Neat. Ooh, we got something from Magnolia here. Read the report from Magnolia. Offshore drilling near Helge Island increased tensions. I started a new oil drilling operation very close to the disputed territory of Helge Island. The tensions increased when the situation turned into a standoff between Volkslandian and Agnolian warships. It took several hours for the gridlock to be resolved, and the situation was de-escalated for now. I don't want them to go to war. Come the fuck on, just chill. Chill, you know, we got stuff going on all the time. We're all in this together. We're all up against Rumberg here. Alright, what's going on in Narble? Education in rural regions require improvements. What? Sarah Walder reports that the current education situations in rural regions of Sordland have been largely neglected. As part of her analysis, the literary rate in Sordland currently stands at 80%, while rural regions like Narble has a literacy rate of only 64%. The lack of schools per capita also reflects these results. I just gave you some fucking budget, you make use of it. Read the report from Laura on military equipment outdated. The General Staff has performed an analysis on our borders to assess our military defense capabilities against a potential Rumberg attack. The results show that our military equipment is outdated and needs replacement as soon as possible. The continuation of the wording report shows that in the event of an attack, our border would be broken through easily, leaving primary regions of Sordland exposed. Am I gonna get shit from all over saying, hey, this is what you did wrong? Well, it doesn't look like this is law enforcement or fucking the other one, health. The Vice Minister of the Interior has reported the discovery of a large-scale underground network of the BFF, Blue Freedom Front, that encompasses all cities in Bergia. Under the guise of state-sanctioned priesthood, the BFF has recruited hundreds and possibly thousands of Nurity worshippers. Monolithic, monotheistic. Really, I'll get to. I'll save the episode in a moment here. Worshippers, including non-Bludish citizens, to support their cause for independence. A dozen arrests were made, but since most police officers don't speak Bludish, it will be difficult to find an actual ringleader priest of the network. A request was made to ban Bludish as a language from sanctuaries. I think the banning of the language is probably causing the problem. Workers' Rights Act. Sign or veto the workers'... Alright, well, I'll do that next episode. And I'm probably not going to ban them. That'll have to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, from Keywii, you've been great tuning yourself. Have a delightful day. I love you all. Goodbye.